Hey everyone, welcome to the God Made Self-Driven Podcast. This is your host, Dustin Bertrand. I'm excited to have you listening here today. We'll be talking about faith, family, fitness, finance, and fun. And we'll be using this first episode as like a launching point, a platform to kind of invite other people into the podcast to hear their stories about their life, about their struggles, and all good things in between. And I'm really excited today. I have a good friend of mine. He's actually from Oregon. He's a transplant. He's very close to becoming a Louisianan. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce him, John Tomasini.
Well, thank you. And I just want to say that it takes boldness to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people who are trying to do podcasts and they don't do podcasts. Everyone I know wants to do a podcast and nobody does a podcast. So I really do want to honor you in the fact that this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous. I'm excited that you're here. You make it a little bit easier for sure.
All I know is you can't go wrong when you talk about God.
Amen.
You can't go wrong. So I brought everything today just because I didn't even know what we were going to talk about.
100%.
And my wife prayed for me to just let God speak. So if we just talk about golf, we talk about golf. If we talk about God, we talk about God. Wherever you want the conversation to go. You said the 5 topics are God, fitness,
family,
relationships, or family.
Yeah.
What was it? Fun
and finance.
And finance. So, man, I'm just so grateful, though, to be here.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to talk about golf too much because you've been beating me too much. So.
We can talk about golf.
we're not going to go there.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think a lot of people want to know because, if you don't know this, he's a business owner in the area of Lafayette. He owns Jet Coffee. And so many people have so many positive things to say about it, but they kind of don't know the man behind the madness. And so hopefully...
Well, I'm going to cut you off there. So I have an amazing team.
Yeah.
And the managers are unbelievable. Literally, they're better than I am.
Yeah.
And I don't know how... when it's funny... Okay, this is so funny. We do a no religion, no politics policy.
Okay.
And yet, my whole coffee shop is God's. Is that weird?
100%. 100%.
Well, here's why is I want everyone to feel loved and valued because every person is unique. I believe that. Every person has a different attribute. If everyone was like me, you wouldn't want to go to that coffee shop. Just being honest.
Right.
So it's like, hey, we want to have an environment that's loving. So about the man behind the coffee shop, to answer that question, it's the people. It's honestly, It's Gabby, it's Adam, it's Josh, Kevin. There's my 4 managers.
Yeah.
I have Reed and Shayla, operations and marketing. And then I have Austin, my roaster. Abby's another hanger manager. I mean, I might be missing people, but
sure.
It's this team that we have that literally makes my life so much easier. And to where, like, when things do happen for Jet, decisions and we pray, but then I ask my team. And so all the decisions behind Jet is literally a big team decision. And if we don't agree, we don't do it. It's that simple. Wow, so, awesome. But keep going though.
Well, good. Well, listen, Jet's here now, but it wasn't here at one time. And you were not in Louisiana at one time.
I know.
And so why don't you tell people, a little bit about yourself, maybe your upbringing. I know you're a very athletic person. So just maybe walk us through the beginning stages of all those things to now.
Well, in this podcast, since we're a team, this is a 2-way conversation.
All right.
So I might even ask you some questions.
That's
fine.
I don't know. Maybe. I may or may not answer.
But man, I played baseball my whole life. Played Oregon State baseball. And if you know much about college sports, like playing in a competitive aspect is not easy. Yeah. And you have to sacrifice a lot to get there. And you played college golf at McNeese, so I'll get to that in a sec. But like your whole life growing up, it's hard to explain. It's like I remember my dad telling me this, and I actually had never asked him to confirm, like, hey, you remember telling me this? But it was basically like, hey, you get a scholarship in college, you don't go to college kind of deal.
Yeah.
And so you're like, like I got to figure out what I'm going to do in college. It's like I'm 5'8" and a quarter. I add that quarter in there. 5'8". And basketball's probably not there for me. Loved basketball. Football was probably my favorite sport, but I talked to a couple of scouts that said too short.
Yeah.
And so I just focused on baseball because at second base, there's no height restriction. And so basically your whole life you're beating your body trying to get somewhere and trying to manipulate and everything you can to be the best.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then you fail, and then you try it again, and then you fail more, and then you succeed. And so, everyone thinks you're playing pro sports. You probably thought you're playing pro golf.
100%.
And so got into college.
What year was this?
2008, I played my first year, and I was like, school is kind of whatever, and I kind of was, maybe I'll do dental, maybe not. And so when I started getting serious about school, it was probably my junior year, but I focused on dental. So then as baseball was coming to an end, I was like, I'm going to go to dental school, and that's all I wanted to do. And it's funny that I'm serving black coffee. Like
When you first started at
yeah,
dental
I'm
school.
like, maybe I should be a dentist and serve coffee. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
drink your coffee and I'll come whiten your teeth, a 2-in-1 business.
100%.
But it's crazy how it worked because I wanted to franchise a Dutch Brothers coffee, and they're a great company. I mean, there's literally nothing I could ever say bad about them. Great people, great company. They were going a route, kind of a corporate route. And when I think I left in 2014 at the time.
So that would have been 2 years after college?
Yep. And I finished in 12.
Yeah.
In 13, I worked like 2.5, I can't remember how many years I worked at Dutch Brothers. I can't even remember. But yeah, it was 2014. And basically just started praying and seeking God. Like, God, after college, like, I really surrendered everything, Yeah. But in college, there was a point in college, one of my best friends is Luke Vetras. And it was probably my sophomore year-ish or so that I just a Jesus freak, I don't know how to put it. And like we would do worship nights in our apartment, and I played guitar, and I'd play songs and we'd sing, and it'd be like 2, 3 in the morning. We're like, oh my, we didn't go to bed.
Yeah.
And then, we'd come out of the apartment, and our neighbor upstairs, this sweet little girl, and we're not annoying you. No, not at all. For like 2 years. When she moved out 2 years later, she goes, I could hear you guys.
No way.
But she always said no.
But she just had the patience. She just let it happen.
She just let it happen. And so who knows where she's at now? Maybe she saved hers now. I don't know. But how I got here was I wanted to go to dental school. And it was like, when you have like me and Joel, my other best friend, we have kind of an obsessive personality.
No, not you.
That's why I don't drink. That's why I don't do any drugs.
Yep.
That's why I don't smoke or do any of that stuff, because I'm like, I just don't want to mess with that,
It's 100% of nothing.
Yeah, I'm either all in or I'm not in. Okay.
It's very prudent of you.
And yeah. So basically, long story short, I was just kind of like, God, like, what do you want me to do? When sports is your whole life and then it's gone.
Was that tough?
I mean,
Yes and no, maybe?
when you have God, it's not. Okay. But
caveat.
I know a lot of people who played sports, and they do sports their entire life, and a lot of them go to pro.
Mm-hmm.
And college, to some extent, is a pretty high level, right? And they finish, and when you're in college or even pro, a lot of times you have your trainers, if my back hurts, I walk into a trainer and they help me out. If
100%.
I want some nutrition plan, everything's free, it's just handed to you. Then you leave, and you don't have that anymore, and they get fat, just being honest. Gain weight, overweight, get out of shape, and you're just like, I'm not forced to wake up at 6 in the morning and work out. I guess I'm gonna sleep in. I don't have to run in the afternoon anymore. I'm probably not gonna run. Right. And you just get these habits, and eventually it just loses you, And but my dad was always a big fitness guy, and so he always said, hey, just always lift your whole life. It's the best thing for you. Just keep working out. So I always kind of lifted and stuff. But it was this point in Oregon where I just kind of like was praying about it, and I decided, I'm going to try this coffee route. So I tried this coffee route, and I go to California to work at a Dutch Bros. And I was thinking maybe I'd franchise a Dutch Brothers, but it didn't work out, and thankfully it didn't. I wouldn't be here talking to you.
Right? Come on.
And but it wasn't anything bad. It was, like I said, great company, great everything. They eventually got bought out by, and I don't know who. Y'all can look it up. They got bought out by somebody. Then they went publicly traded. And so in a way, I'm like kind of thankful I didn't go that route, because what if I never could have franchised?
Yeah.
Because they stopped franchising a couple of years after I left. Or like they talked about not doing it, but it was still open. And so one of the main reasons why I left was I had hurt my back. I worked at a golf course in California and I hurt my back. And I was going to go on a date with my wife. This is kind of the pivotal moment of going to Houston. It's a really long story, but how I moved to the South was I hurt my back, and we were praying about franchising at Dutch Bros. And we were also praying because my brother Caleb wanted to open a coffee shop in Houston, Texas called De Novo, H-Town. And my wife, she wanted to go to dinner, and sometimes when things get idols, you lose sight of God.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, like, you know what I'm talking about, like you.
Yeah, I kind of.
You get over it when you have an obsessive personality.
Yeah.
And you idolize golf.
100%.
Next thing you know, you're probably going to get hurt if you're a believer. Because right. God's going to go, don't idle. You.
Yep.
And I need you to focus.
100%.
And so I was at that point. My back hurt, and I was idolizing golf because I golfed.
You were getting better, huh? That's the problem.
It's funny that I golfed when my last year of college. I golfed with Whitney French, an ex-Oregon State golfer. And I shot like a 90-something. And I was like, this is really fun. 4 months later, I shot an even par round at the same course. I played every day for 9 hours, and I didn't stop. And then I hurt my back. But I didn't hurt I was just like this. All of a sudden,
just started hurting.
Ow, my back starts hurting. And then I couldn't move my arm. And I felt like God was saying, why aren't you seeking me?
Yeah, like wake up.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to go putting. I can at least putt. Like, just,
you're right. No, you're stubborn.
I can at least go putt.
You're
going
to figure it out.
So stubborn. But anyways, so that had happened in Oregon, and I had gotten healed. And now I'm in California. And I'm at this pivotal point of like a really decision. I'm about to get married. It's 2014. I'm either going to go franchise at Dutch Bros. This is how we really came down here.
Yeah.
And my brother wants to open a coffee shop in Houston. And he's like, hey, we'll pay for your wife's beauty school. We'll pay you a certain amount of this, and this. You can give 10% back as a company. You can run it however you have them run it. You can just all these things. And I was like, man, Lord, like, what do you want me to do? And it was like, you know, and I can't remember who it is in the Bible, but he just laid it at the temple. And he's like, Lord, just whatever you want me to do with this. It was like a decree, I think, from an enemy. But it was that same thing of like, Lord, here's what I have in front of me, the good and the bad. And what do you want me to do?
Yeah, show me.
Like, I don't care. The moment of surrender, like, where you just don't care anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And so the Lord kind of has to break you a lot when you're stubborn to get to a point where you don't care. You're just like, don't care anymore
100%.
At all. Just don't care. And so I'm at this point, and my back's hurt, but in my head, I'm like, I'm fine, you know? Like, I can do this. And so I have a date with Stephanie, my fiance at the time. And as I get in the car to drive down, I heard it's that quiet kind of like, go golfing. And I was like, I've been down this road. I ain't going golfing. Like, shut up, Satan. You know?
Right, 100%.
And it was like this. I knew he was God. So I called Stephanie. I said, hey, babe, I love you. And I'm going to have to cancel our dinner tonight. Well, why? Because I'm going to go golfing.
Can you imagine?
She goes, okay, sounds good. I was like, I feel like God told me to go golfing. She goes, okay. Like a woman of faith.
I'm about to say a woman of deep faith, huh?
So then I go golfing, and as I got there, I started, as I was driving there, got better and better and better and more healed. And I got to the hole, to the course, and they didn't have any tee times. And I used to work there. And they're like, oh, there's this guy on 16. So I go all the way to 16 to play with this random person. And he's like a hippie, California hippie.
Long hair,
long beard, long hair. Probably wore flip-flops. Who even knows?
Right.
But while I got there, my back was healed. And the guy had asked me, he goes, hey, what are you doing here in Sacramento?
Yeah.
I'm working at some coffee shop, because my mindset was when I was going to go to dinner and God told me to go golfing, I was going to hear from the Lord. And why am I golfing with this hippie?
100%.
So I show up, the whole course is packed. I golf 3 holes with this guy. There's no offense to hippies, because I'm basically a hippie.
I was about to say, yeah.
I'm like grounder, and I like
growing a whole garden in your backyard.
Totally a hippie. But it was just like that feeling of like, I want to hear from God, but I want to golf with a golfer, you know? It was so bad of me. It was like, I can't even describe, like, stereotyping this guy like he can't golf or even talk to me, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I'm going to go golf, and I'm here to golf, and I'm here to hear God. And I don't know who you are, but you can just be here.
You could just be in my space.
Yeah, So the first hole, I didn't say anything to the guy. And then second hole, he's like, so what you do in town? And it was like, oh, not much. Now, what do you do? What are you doing for work? I was like, I work at some coffee shop. He goes, oh, which coffee shop? Oh, just the one down the road. And he goes, oh, which one's that? Like, I'm avoiding everything. I'm like, oh, just the Dutch Bros down the street. He goes, man, you should go to Houston, Texas and open your own coffee shop. And I was like, do you know, because my brother name's Caleb. I was like, do you know a guy named Caleb Tommasini by chance? He goes, no, I don't know who that is. I'm like, I've been praying for 3 months about going to Houston, Texas to open a coffee shop. Or if I should, there's a chance, Dutch Bro says there's a chance to get a managing job in Arizona, or like could have had a managing job.
Yeah.
And it was like lining up both. And it was a point, do I pursue Dutch Bros with the chance that they could never franchise? Maybe I work corporate forever. Yeah. Or do I go off on my own that I have no idea what I'm doing? I don't even own. I'm just opening a coffee shop for my brother. So when I got healed, driving to the golf course, my wife, fiance at the time that has so much faith, tells me to go. I go, my back gets healed. I talk to this random, I say hippie, just California hippie, And the guy tells me to go to Houston, Texas, out of the blue. It was just, I was like, okay.
And you didn't know this guy?
No. I should have got his name and number because I'm like, dang it. Might have been an angel. I don't know who it was. I have no idea. But from that point on, got off golf and I called my wife, fiance, and I said, hey, we're going to go to Houston. She goes, okay, sounds good. And I was just like,
can we just give a round of applause for your wife, her docility and her trust in her man? I mean, goodness.
She's
cancel the date to go play golf. Gets back from going to play golf. Say, hey, we're moving to Houston and we're about to get married.
Yeah, and they say the 3 worst things for marriages is getting married, then financial issues, and then moving, and then new job, I think are the 4, like, I don't know.
Top 4, like, struggles.
I don't know if they're top 4, but I knew at the time it was like, these are like the main 4 things that ruin marriages. I'm like, well, hopefully we have, we have a great relationship, but
Obviously.
I was like, this is going to work. We're going to make this thing work.
100%.
So, but that was kind of how I got to the South, and I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So when I got to the South, from there, like, it did not work out. Let's just say that. I don't want to go into details because I know this stuff all goes live and everything. But
100%. We understand.
It didn't work out. And I was sitting in an apartment. We didn't have a couch. We didn't have a bed. We had nothing. And now I'm sitting in an apartment. It's empty. I think all we had was like, I got a free on Craigslist, like dinner table, I think it was. We were sleeping on the floor for 3 weeks.
And so what year was this? So
2014, yeah.
That was 2014.
Got married and moved. The same, like we just picked up and moved. Time. Oh, yeah. Which is crazy to think about, like, when you truly surrender to God and you want to do his will, you do things that don't really make sense, Yeah. Like, why would I ever just get up, pack, put everything in a truck and just start driving, stay in an apartment that I can't afford?
Right.
So anyway, so I get there. I one of the main things here's the one thing I will share. One of the main things that I agreed upon before I drove is I said, I feel like the Lord said, I can't be your partner. The only thing I cannot be is I can't sign on your loan or be your partner. Because if I sign on your loan or be your partner, then I feel like I'm in bed in marriage. But I feel like I'm going to help you open coffee shops. And I said, I want to franchise from you. Like, I'll pay your fees. I'll help you build a coffee shop, and I'll franchise to pay you. I mean, I'll serve whatever you need me to do. Like, that's genuinely how me and Stephanie were feeling. Because God told us to go. So it was like, whatever you want, we'll do.
100%.
Anyways, when we got there, all these things went wrong, but one of the main things was their group asked me to sign, there was 3 of them, asked me to sign on a loan. And I actually saved every text message, which is crazy. I have it all on my phone. But the text said, you sign on the loan or you're out. And I responded back, like, out as in you guys are firing me out. And it was said, sign or out. And I said, but we agreed that I can't sign on a loan and I can't be your partner. That's what we agreed upon before. Sign or out. So I called him the next day. I said, dude, I can't sign. And then you're out. Okay. So then we just.
And that was something you and your wife were in agreement with? Y'all just.
Stephanie was by me and she's like, if we're not allowed to be here, like, we wanted to be there.
Right.
I didn't want to leave.
But y'all knew there were certain parameters for y'all to be there.
It was God. I can't disobey God.
Yeah. That's what y'all heard in prayer.
Just can't.
Is what it is.
Is what it is. So it was like, I was really tempting to just be like, I'll just sign on it. It's not that big a deal. Like, I'm a small whatever stake. But it was like, this was something that God told us that you just cannot do it. And there's no other exceptions. And I think a lot of times believers, they muddy the word, like, oh, well, did he really mean sign her out? Like, it's just maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%, I think it was 5% is what I had. It's like, it's not really partners, it's just a loan, and you justify. And then next thing you know, you're there,
you always wanted,
and you're like, here I am, this is what I wanted, but it's not what God wanted, right?
Correct.
So it sucks, don't get me wrong. Like, again, down to the surrender thing is like when you really surrender, your wants aren't what you get. But eventually, God's will becomes your wants, so that what you want to do, you actually enjoy doing, which turns out to be also God's will.
100%.
Does that make sense?
Oh, definitely.
So, long story short, but basically got there and I was in the apartment alone. I think it's actually here. I brought I have so many notes.
Yeah, take your time.
And I don't know where this one is. It's in here somewhere, but there was a note that said, Lord, take everything from me so that all I have left is you. And I'm sitting in the apartment by myself because my wife, I picked up a job at Chipotle and she picked up a job at Nordstrom Rack. We were just trying to get jobs everywhere. And there was a checkbox unchecked. And I was like, check. I was like, literally, he took everything from me.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, what's next? I didn't know what was next. And my buddy Joel quit State Farm. I'm going to find this before we're done. I was trying to find it earlier. My buddy Joel quit State Farm to come down there. So he's in Houston. He's like, what do I do? I was like, I don't know. I mean, you could still do the coffee shop if you want. He's like, I ain't doing it if you ain't doing it,
Right, period.
So he went back to Dallas and we agreed that we would pray. So I remember this, how it happened. My sister Rachel said, hey, why don't you come to, I'm sorry, we're backtracking. That was December 3rd, 2nd. I have it on my phone. I have the screenshots, 2nd or 3rd. Thanksgiving, we were here and we weren't gone. We weren't fired, So Thanksgiving, I was in Houston and my sister lives in Lafayette, Louisiana.
And this would be 2015 now, or we
2014 still.
Still in 2014.
So November, Thanksgiving, 2014. Before I ever left the Novo, she goes, hey, why don't you come over to Louisiana, Lafayette, and have Thanksgiving? So we drive over, and I'm here, Thanksgiving. Drive back. I think that's when I took. Later, I ended up getting a couch from them. I think we got a bed right before we left. We had to bring it all the way back because I ended up moving in a minute. I'll tell you, but basically, we go to Thanksgiving here. We come back. Then that story I just told you how I got fired, basically.
Yeah.
When that happened, then it was like me and Joel were like, "What do we do?" Like I quit everything. I quit Dutch Bros. Like, what am I go back? Hey guys, I'm here. Yeah. You quit State Farm. Hey, I'm here. Quit everything. Like, what do we do? And then we were in Ross. I have the notes here. I was looking at it. Ross parking lot. We're like, Joel was like, "Why don't we start a coffee shop? Our own." I was like, sure. I mean, I'm all the way down here anyways. What I got to lose? And so we were talking about names, and I was like, what about JJ's Coffee? John and Joel.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, like, what about JT's Coffee, Joel and Tommasini?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's my initials, John Tomasini, JT. Might as well have been Jet at that point. He's like, yeah, dude, let's do that. And I was like, no. I remember in the parking lot, I was like, we ain't calling it this. He goes, no, think about this. It's just it's like, I think he called it symbolic.
Yeah.
But who we are is dreamy, in the clouds, fly high, that aspect. But just a thing. But it's also my initials.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I ain't doing that. He goes, no one needs to know. It's just it's quick service. It's sleek. It's cool. Like,
yeah,
a lot of room to work with,
100%.
So we get back to the apartment and can I show photos here? I don't know if the camera can pick up a photo or not. Maybe not.
Hold it up and we'll see.
But I want to show you, we came up with the logo. Keep in mind, it took us golly, I don't know how many months to come up with the De Novo logo. It took almost a year. So we're in come back to the apartment, have the name Jet Coffee, go back to the apartment. And
this is why y'all still in Houston, right?
We're in Houston, yeah.
Okay. So
I just got let go December 3rd or 4th or whatever. This is middle of December. And I think I left December 22nd is when I moved here officially. December 22nd, 2014. But anyways, we're in the apartment. We got a whiteboard and Joel goes, do you know the above the influence? I was like, yeah, like the drug thing, like above the influence. He's like, yeah. He's like, I love the logo. It's just a circle with an arrow up. And I was like, yeah, it's cool. And he's like, yeah, it's like, it's just modern, it's clean, it's fresh. You can multicolored it, whatever.
Yeah.
So we took that. It was basically, this is the logo. I'm thumbing it out to show you something. You see the logo?
Oh, wow.
And then straight up and down. And then we put a thing there. Then we tilted it. Then we drew a jet logo. And there's the first ever jet logo we ever drew.
No
Within
way.
like 20 minutes. And me and Joe were like, if this isn't of God, it took us 9 months to get the other stuff.
Come on.
And a lot of money. And this took us 20 minutes and we prayed.
I tell people all the time, when it's God's plan, there's a sense of an ease to it at times. Like there's it's like a grace just covers it. It's just, it's unreal.
Is that crazy?
It's God, yeah.
This was the first thing that we were like, hey, maybe we do like a badge.
Nah.
Well, then I said this. I said, I don't want, with the name Jet Coffee, everyone's going to think, oh, military. And then we have a logo like this. That's all they're going to think.
Yeah.
But even with this, it is kind of,
it's still
it's still military.
Yeah.
And
but it's cleaner.
I didn't want military-esque,
yeah.
But I mean, there's no way around it. If your name's Jet Coffee and your logo is like this, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
So, we can do some puns off of it. Like some of our coffee blends is a Phantom Roast. It's like the nickname of an airplane.
Yeah.
The Ascender is a nickname of an airplane. The Prowler is a nickname of an airplane. Like Airbender. There's a Dreamliner. So a lot of our names, it's like, you know what? Now that we're here, let's just pun some of it.
100%.
But that's basically, to recap that, is we just came up with this logo and we just said, let's go to Lafayette, Louisiana, open this coffee shop, And how we chose Lafayette was this. When he went to Dallas and I stayed in Houston, we told each other, we said, let's really seek God and let's pray. Just nonstop. Just, God, where do you want us to go? You want us to open a coffee shop? Where do you want us to go? And I can't send you anything. Because we had talked about Lafayette. I was like, I'm not going to look up any Lafayette stuff and send you like how fun it is to live in Lafayette and to convince you. And you can't send me like parks and baseball fields in Lafayette to convince me. Just you pray, I pray. And on Christmas Day, we'll send each other a note on where we're going to go to. And maybe with some random cities where God wants. So like, what if we wrote Arkansas and both of us wrote Arkansas? We'd be like, whoa.
Correct.
Well, for 3 days straight, I just was like consumed with Lafayette. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I'm like, God, I don't want to go to Lafayette. Like, we just talked about not going there. Like, let me go somewhere else. Maybe back to Oregon, maybe Montana, maybe somewhere in Houston. Like, I don't know. Well, like 3 days later, he calls me. He's like, hey, buddy. I'm like, hey. He's like, you been thinking about anything lately? I'm like, have you been thinking about anything lately? He's like, man, there's a place I just can't stop thinking about. I was like, is it Lafayette? He goes, yes, it's Lafayette. I can't stop thinking about it. I was like, let's go. Let's just go. That was 3 days later. We're like, we're just going. So he's like, I'm driving back to Houston. Just drove back to Houston. And that's when we were in the Ross parking lot and figuring stuff out for like the week or so. And then we moved to Lafayette, December 22nd. But that's how we got here.
Man.
And then that was 2014. And then in 2015, actually it was April 9th, 2015 was my first dream I ever had. And that was the start of...
we said it again, April what?
April 9th, 2015.
15.
And I have it here.
Come on, somebody.
But we were praying about investors. We had no money. And we don't have any money.
It's kind of hard to do stuff.
Flashback, we're in Houston. And the reason why me and Stephanie don't really like Mateo's salsa. You ever had Mateo's salsa?
I can't say I did.
It's at like Costco. It's all over. Well, we didn't have any money. And all we could afford was a Mateo's salsa.
No way.
So we had it for dinner. It was pretty funny. Like,
we don't eat Mateo's salsa.
2 weeks in a row. It was like, I'm sick of eating Mateo's salsa. So I don't like to eat it anymore. I'm like, and she's like, get that away from me. Like,
you're like, no.
Trauma.
Right.
PTSD.
Yeah, exactly. It's a trauma response.
But I don't know how you want to go with this stuff. I'll share some dreams just because they're kind of cool.
Absolutely.
But like, this is how God, I guess what I'm feeling now is like what I'd like to share if anyone is listening would be, if you seek God, he will speak. There's no not speaking. Okay.
I believe that
and I've told you this before too. Like, I've heard a guy back in Oregon tell me like, the radio's playing right now. I don't know how many stations there are there, maybe 50 stations, not 100. I can get on Spotify and play music. It's sending, I don't know how maybe it's downloaded to my phone, but there's somehow And which is crazy to think about. There's actually music in the air right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But you have to turn to the right channel, right? Because this is a classic thing you've heard. So God's always speaking. It just depends if we're willing to tune in. And my dad used to always call it like a channel in a way. Like he would focus and hear God. I don't know how he did it, but how I do it is just like, I usually just have to be I'm just like, Lord, I don't care kind of feeling. Like, don't matter what we do. I just want to be honoring and serving you.
Yeah.
That's it. And so I do know for a fact that every time I've actually sought God, God has spoken. And what's interesting is I do hear people, oh, well, I seek God and he just doesn't talk to me. But and I will never judge. But my question is, what seeking are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, I got my 15-minute Bible in this morning, and then I spend my whole day not talking to God.
100%.
Because it's like, what if Stephanie's with me right here?
Yeah.
She's right here. And in the morning, I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like, what are you doing today? You know? And then 10 minutes later, I spend my whole day. She's right here. Never talk to her, never look at her. I'm in this meeting right now. I don't even like acknowledge her. I'm sitting down in the conference room. Don't even talk to her. I'm in the car. She's sitting there. Don't even say a word. Put on music. Go to the golf course, playing golf. She's in the cart with me. Don't even talk to her. I mean, that's kind of like the thing. It's like, is like God is here at all times. And for us, American, is get your 15-minute Bible study in. And I'm all for routines.
100%.
Okay, I'm not.
I know you are.
I'm all for, I do this.
Yeah, I know we do.
But there's a beyondness of the 15s.
100%.
You know? And it's not like you have to be holy. I'm not some holy person.
Right.
In fact, one of my notes I had in here, it was so interesting. I journal a lot. One of the notes I had in here was I had said something kind of like, I didn't want to work a shift at Home Depot. And I told him, I was like, oh, I had plans, but I didn't really have plans. I just wanted to like
Chill.
sit at my house and do nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got things going on, you know, which I guess is kind of true. But at the time, when God convicts you, I was like, yeah, it wasn't really, I just should have told him, hey, I just want to sit on my couch and do nothing, you know?
Right. To be honest, be completely honest.
Like,
See what they said.
I just literally want to do nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just exhausted. I worked 80 hours, you know. It was like, hey, I actually can't work. So I wasn't covering a shift. Well, then that day I went to my first coffee shop location. We were praying and God spoke to me. And I said, and I wrote these notes down, like, why'd you talking to me? And I just lied, you know.
Wow.
And the verse came up of Christ died for the sinners, not the righteous, you know. I'm like, okay, like you died for me.
Right. I just showed you. I just showed you why you died.
And,
why you had to die for me.
But anyways, like I'll go into some dreams. I don't know how
Yeah.
depth I'll go into them, but the main things I really want to portray is like God speaks in different ways.
Yeah.
For me, it is dreams.
Yeah.
Like these are all dreams. Every one of these is a dream.
Yeah. And before you go on, I want to affirm that in the word. And it says in Jeremiah chapter 29 that if you seek him with your whole heart, you will find him. Not that you might, or you maybe, or you could.
You will.
You will.
And
know,
Isaiah
and the
says, seek
caveat
him
is-
while he may be found.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
like, he can be found.
I affirm that. So please keep
Yeah,
sharing.
but like the Lord actually, speaking of dreams, I think you have to also be diligent. I think you have to be a good steward. There was a time I had so many dreams. I mean, these are all dreams. These are dreams. I have literally like you probably can't see the book. Some of these are dreams.
Yeah.
Those are dreams. And I started getting a lot. And I didn't write a couple down. And I was like, I'll have another one tomorrow. Yeah. Then I didn't have one. Then I didn't have one. Then I didn't have one. And I felt like the Lord was like, I'm not going to give them to you if you don't steward them.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah.
So it goes down to you and your podcast.
Yeah.
So God has an anointing for you
Yeah.
and a calling and a reach.
Come on.
But if you don't steward what you've been given, you're going to be honest, you're not going anywhere.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. There's a consequence for everything.
Yeah, I know it probably sounds harsh, but
Yeah.
I do think God is grace.
100%.
There's mercy. But I also think that if the Lord says something, there's either obedience or not obedience. There's a fence. Sorry, I touched your mic. There's a fence.
Yeah.
And you're either yes or you're no. And I think it comes down to how obedient you are if God will give you more and more and more and more. And this is really cool you're doing the podcast because even if nothing comes of this, that's fine.
Right.
But as you build on it and build momentum and you get more important people, and I'm a nobody, you get actual people here that have things to say, then who knows how many people can be impacted? Who knows how many people that are in drugs or in a bad place
Right.
that just have it on while they're working out. And the next thing you know, they're like, I want to turn. This is,
Right.
you know. And so, but the dreams are really fun, like really, really fun. And here's why they're so fun. You know, when you have an obsessive personality and you do things a lot and then you start doing them really well, you're like, you know, right? Like pride. It's pride.
No, I'm
Prideful.
laughing because I know you. You know,
Prideful.
I've seen it in you.
So
I've seen you catch yourself so many times.
I know golf is one of those things that I just have to be really careful because I know the Lord can take it tomorrow. And I'm just thankful to even be alive. I'm genuinely thankful to even play golf.
Caveat to that, he's our club champion at our local club. Anyway, we'll keep going.
I am genuinely thankful to even be able to play golf.
Yeah.
And I don't get much time.
Yeah.
Like
you make the most of it though.
Like I look up practice things like as I get to the course, I'll pop up like 45-minute practice and it's like intense focused practice and then I'll leave, you know. And I remember last year I had 0 time. And I would come in the summer at like 7 at night and hit a bucket of balls and come home because I had so much going on. And I still have a lot going on, but I think what's important is not necessarily the time, it's the quality. Yeah. But back to the dream thing, what's cool about this is if God spoke to me audibly and I heard God's voice, like God knows me. He knows the pride that's in me. And I don't even want to go down that road. So yeah, I'd love if God just spoke like I'm talking. I would love that. But when I can handle it, maybe he'll give it to me. How about that?
I agree.
Can't handle it right now.
Yeah.
So he speaks in dreams because I can't say I did anything. I had a dream in my sleep. Like, what did I do?
Right.
Think about that. If God speaks to you, do you feel like you have like this anointing? God, I can hear God's voice.
There's a little like, oh, wow. Yeah. I just heard
right?
That. Yeah.
But let's say you had a dream and you woke up. Like, it was a random dream.
Had nothing to do with you. Could
wrote it down. You're like, you can't even fabricate a dream. Like, I can't go to bed thinking, oh, I'm going to play in the Masters and win. And then I dream about playing the Masters and win. You're not even going to dream about that. Yeah. Like, you can't make up a dream. You can't fabricate a dream. At least to my knowledge, maybe there's some way to do it. I've never done it, so I don't know.
I wouldn't know how to do it either.
But all I do know is what's cool about dreams and how God speaks to me is that I can't say I did this or I did that because I didn't. I just had a dream in my sleep.
And I wrote it down.
So, but the first dream I ever had, now I got to go back to it. What's cool about it is me and Joel, we moved in December of 2014. Mm-hmm. We were like seeking God. Like every day after work, we'd be talking about God, what we read that day. Not that we aren't still, but it was just when you live, he lived with me. When you live with each other, it's just, it's nonstop. Like, look what God spoke to me here. Look what I read here. Yeah. And we're constantly all day and texting each other. And we worked together at Mattress Gal and we had multiple jobs and we're praying and seeking God. We'd pray together. We would walk around places in Lafayette trying to find locations. It was just, but we had no money. So we're calling people and family members would be like, and they were gracious. Hey, I'll give you 20 grand. Yeah. So, hey, I'll give you 5 or hey, I might have 10. And we're like, okay, well, we could get this much money, but we need like that much money. And like, we need to figure this out, you know? And we just all kind of came to dead ends in a way. And then that was like end of December, January, February. So like in January, February, we had people kind of like, yeah, I'd give some money into it. Well, then for whatever reason, it was like end of March that one of the guys goes, oh, actually, I don't know if you needed it right now, but I have to invest it in something else. And another person called and said, oh, this happened in my house. I got to put the money in here. And it was like the money just kept dropping. And I was like, okay, well. And then I had this dream that Troy Polamalu, I don't know if you know who that is, walked up to me. This is how vivid the dream was. And I didn't have dreams. It was like this. Imagine I walk up to you and I hand you a bag of cash. Yeah. And I grab the bag of cash. I'm like, hey, Troy, how's it going? And I look at it and I saw a bag of ones. And I was like, really? Yeah. And then as I looked, I saw 5s and 10s and 20s, 50s, 100s. And there was like, I think we had needed just under 250 grand or something like that. Yeah. And I remember I wrote, Troy had a huge grin on his face. And it was every penny that we needed. Because that's why there was dollars in there. Because in our spreadsheet, it had it's not 250. It was like 248,652 cents. Exact number. And there was little change in the bottom even too. It was to the T. And I woke up and I told Joel, I was like, dude, I had this dream. And I remember Joel was like, you should call him. Because he's one of my sister's best friends. I'm like, I ain't calling him. the last thing I ever want to do is be a burden to somebody. Like, it's like if you ever made it to the Masters and you won, and then I'm like, hey, bud, can I borrow some money?
Yeah.
I would never do that.
Right.
That's like the last thing I would ever do in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, why would you give me this dream?
Yeah.
I don't want this dream.
Right.
Like, throw it out, you know? And then he's like, you just need to call him. And then the night before Dream 2, so they're back-to-back nights, we listened to Changing God's Mind, I write these notes, by Tony Evans. And regardless of whatever happened to Tony Evans recently, but this is 2015.
I understand.
And we asked God to give us a sign that this is from you. Like, because in the sermon, he's like, sometimes when God speaks to you, he's not a God of confusion.
Right.
Sometimes you need to say, Lord, I know you spoke to me this, but I'm kind of confused. Just tell me plainly and I'll be obedient, you know? And so we asked that we can get a dream again for you to ask if I should ask Troy or not. And that night I had a dream about Troy. And it was really interesting because it was a small boat, but in the boat, it was halfway in the water and halfway out of the water, like this, like a rowboat, like a John boat.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Okay.
I can see it by that.
Okay, there's a boat, and halfway in the water, halfway out of the water, and I'll show you an image in a sec. But we're in the middle of the ocean, me and Joel, and we're swimming, and I had no worries. Like I could look as far as I could look forever, and there was nothing. And it was me and Joel, like me and you, and there's and I see the boat in the distance, like sinking, but it wasn't sinking; it was just half full. And we're just swimming, and we're having a good time. Then all of a sudden, I was like, "Sharks are coming! We got to get in the boat." It's like panic, and we were like, "Oh!" So we just start swimming, like this is like panic, like hysteria, panic. We got to go! Like I hate sharks in the water.
I would hate
like,
them too.
Like I'm feeling like I felt like it was so real. I'm like swimming, and I'm referencing my notes so I don't miss anything. And we get to the boat, and now the boat's regular, so it's like this. And now we're on the boat, and there's sharks literally like around, but they weren't there. It was weird. But then a pair of shoes fell into the water. It was Nike cleats. And I was like, well, I need to dive in and grab these shoes. And someone was like, why do you need those? And I was like, well, maybe I need them, and then the sharks will be here soon. This is a random dream.
Yeah, this is good.
I was like, but I need to get them. So I just jumped right in, grabbed the shoes. As I look up, there's like 5 sharks swirling around me. And I look at the boat, and I'm done. I'm like, well, that was a dumb decision. But then all of a sudden, I just get yanked. And this is a dream, okay? So
I understand.
And there was a rope around my stomach now. And there's like 7, 8 people in the boat now, and the boat's like twice as big. And they're all pulling me. And I'm getting yanked. And as I look, the boat gets bigger. Now it's like a cruise ship, hundreds of thousands of people. They're all pulling me up. And I get to like the cruise ship, and I'm like at the water, and I'm getting like yanked. And I get up to right about here. Now I'm above water, and a shark I saw coming full speed to come get me jumps out of the water and like hit an invisible wall. And I was like, whoa. Then I get to the top, and I'm at the top now. Now, this is a dream. I'm going to keep saying this.
Yeah, it better be a dream. No, I'm joking.
I'm at the top, and one of the girls from Home Depot's there, and this other friend of mine had an Aladdin sword. And he said, I'm going to cut the rope. And then someone out loud said, no, in case you need to get more shoes. And then all of a sudden I heard the lease is $1,000. The lease is $1,000. Like it was like God. That was like literally the lease is $1,000, you know? And then this lady from Home Depot said, you need to ask Troy to pay that money. And you're going to pay it $2,000 in the first one, and then $1,000 every other month after that. And I was like, okay, woke up. I was like, that was weird. So let me make sure I didn't miss anything. 2 pairs of shoes. Okay. So then I was like, I'm not calling Troy. Like, that's too weird of a dream. It's so weird. That wasn't like, God, like the girl said to ask Troy to pay for it, but like, I still don't feel like,
right.
I don't know if I can tell him about my dream. Like, it's weird, you know?
So then completely understand.
But then, hold on, I got one more dream. So then one more dream happened. So then we're praying. I wrote all these notes, and we're praying. And then we pray again. I'm like, Lord, I just don't know if this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, I don't ask people for money. Like, you really have to force this for me.
Yeah.
Then that night I had another dream. But this time I was on a computer, and it was like the old MSN Messenger. You know the old MSN Messenger?
A long time ago.
And I'm messaging Troy, and he's messaging back, and it's on like a message. And I'm messaging, and then you're messaging, but you're right there. You're Troy, and I'm right here. But yet, when I talk, I would type a message, and when he would talk, he would type a message, and I'd read it. And I was like, and I'm reading it, and I felt peace. I wasn't nervous, but I was talking as though I was talking to him right in front of me as a friend. Yeah. And it was a great conversation, and Troy was very interested in what we were doing. And then I woke up. I said, okay, I'm going to call Troy. So I called him, he didn't answer. And then this is how it kind of played out. He says, hey, it's better if I email you. So he starts emailing, we're emailing back and forth. Time goes on. And then we're looking towards a lease. And then in Lafayette. So we found a location now.
Okay.
And now we're like heavily going to this location. And we're like.
And this is 2015.
Real estate agent, everything. We're just heavily going to this lease. Troy on the messenger is like, yeah, I'm interested. Like, I think this is really cool. And I'm like, wow, this is wild. Like, he's going to be our investor. Well, then as we're doing this, Joel or Stephanie goes, wait a minute. You haven't even talked to him on the phone yet. That's like your third dream. I was like, oh my goodness. I thought I was going to call Troy, but in the dreams, we were emailing. It was email.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Like the dream came true.
Right.
Like, it's just crazy. So as we're doing the lease, it comes out later that the landlord, it was the lot on Roselawn and Johnson Street. That's now Cajun Clean Car Wash.
Oh, wow.
And it was a dead lot, and the city deemed it as dead because there was chemical spills, this, that, and the other. And so I got approval from the city to build an above ground. I can't dig into the ground, but I could build a cement pad and then build a coffee shop like on top of it. Yeah. But I cannot dig more than maybe a foot into the ground. I couldn't dig. So in real life, we're going towards the lease. I'm kind of talking to Troy on the emails. And then the landlord guy goes, look, how about we just do $1,000 a month? And I was like, yes, sounds good. And Joel's like, wow, this is crazy. Like a couple times I remember Joel going like, whoa, this is cool. Like, and I was like,
right, the confirmation.
Like the shock,
you know?
The
confirmation, yeah.
So I'd go home and I'd be like, is this real? Like, am I reading this right? Like, read this. And I
and
like,
this
read
is happening.
My dream.
Yeah.
And this is happening. And then as we progress further, the landlord goes, well, deposit. I'm going to need a deposit. So your first month's rent's going to be $2,000 and then $1,000 every other month after. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it can't be more clear.
Yeah.
Like this has to be it.
Right.
So then Troy's like, in one of his emails, he said, I'm in, dude. I'm going to call Ike Taylor and we'll get Ike involved and we'll be your investors. We'll help. And because I'd talked to him on the phone a couple times too. So we start moving forward in faith. There was an opportunity where the landlord goes, we kept pushing it back. He goes, you either need to sign the lease and move forward with it, or you need to leave because you're wasting our time.
Yeah.
So Troy kind of he didn't give us an okay in the lease, but he's like, I'm really interested in investing in your coffee shop. And we, in faith, signed the lease to move forward. And it was like the right decision to make at the time.
Right.
Like, I don't regret it at all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't look back and be like, oh, I shouldn't have signed the lease. I should have signed that lease, 100%. And December 2nd, 2016 is when he was officially out. Because by the time we signed the lease, it might have been early 2016. And then by the time the lease was signed was like in May or June. And then we had like 4 or 5 months to build. So we didn't pay rent until October, November of 2016. And then Troy was out in 2016.
Wow.
And there was like an email where he was just out. And so now we did all these things. I had these dreams. It's confusing, huh?
Right. Well, they came into fruition. Just the final thing didn't come into fruition, like your big dream.
Yeah.
Everything happened, but the end result wasn't what you wanted.
And what's funny is too, like the shoes, Nike shoes, like he wore Nike football cleats.
Of course,
It was just all these little things that I can't make this stuff up.
Do you think the Lord was maybe teaching you to trust for the other things that were to come that I kind of know about before we get there?
Yeah, I think maybe. I think that it doesn't matter. I think it's just obedience.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to know why.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to know
Yeah.
anything. I think it's just you obey or don't obey. It goes back to the thing, either yes or no.
Yeah.
And he wanted to see how much are you willing to risk.
100%.
Like, are you really in it to make money and be rich? Or are you really in it to serve and do my will?
Yeah, be obedient.
Right. And so we signed the lease. It all fell through.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily his fault either. How he explained it was he said that, and a lot of I looked it up too. Like a lot of athletes, they'll sign these contracts with these firms that manage their finances, and in these firms, they don't want pro athletes to go bankrupt.
Right.
And so they're like, hey, you know, here's $10 million. Well, 8 of it is going into this account, untouchable. Okay. You can spend 500 here. You can spend 250 here. You can spend maybe 500 in business. And then here's the money you can use towards food or whatever. Maybe it's not 8, maybe it's 7. And they allocate it and then they sign. And then you can't, oh, can I pull some more money out of this account?
Yeah. No.
Like, no, because you're going to go bankrupt.
Right.
And so he just said he had a certain amount of money for business and he got tied up in China and he used it all. He's like, I didn't realize it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Call me back in 3-4 years when I'm out.
But
well, at that point,
you didn't have to.
Well, at that point, I already signed a lease. And it is what it is.
So I guess what has led to, what was the things that happened to where you are now? Like what was the breakthrough? What was the next meeting?
It was crazy. Like the dreams never stop. We always had dreams. We always had dreams about Jet. We always had stuff. I had random people prophesy over me out of the blue, come up to me. Hey man, I don't know why. I just felt like God is saying there's a jet involved or something. Do you have any idea what that's about?
Was this in Lafayette?
Lafayette.
Awesome.
2 in Lafayette. 1 was in California.
Yeah.
Oregon, I'm sorry. But it was just like God is going, hey, I hear you still. I know you're holding out. I didn't abandon you. You know? Because you could easily get those feelings of, I'm seeking you, God, with all my heart. And you're just leading me astray. And
when you say prophesy, just for some of the listeners out there, someone would just go up to you randomly and say something about these dreams and prayers you've been having, but they did not know. Is that kind of what you're?
It's like right now, and this has happened for me too, where like I'll walk in a grocery store and all of a sudden I see this girl and I'm like, I don't know why, like I feel like we need to pray for her aunt or something. You know? Yeah. And I go ask her, hey, is your aunt okay? No, she just got in a car wreck. I'm like, wow, let's pray for your aunt. How would you know that? The Holy Spirit.
Right, 100%. Right? Good. So, I just want you to clarify that for listeners that may not be understanding what you meant by that. So
you know what's dangerous too, and I'll go into this really briefly, is like the other side of the spirit realm is the demonic side. Yeah. People go into these readings and things, you know. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that there's demons. I know they're here. Like 100%. Jesus didn't get rid of them. And if they're there, they're here. They're not bound yet, you know. 100%. And so they follow people and they know everything about this person. And then you go into one of these little things and that person goes, oh yeah, you know, this person is his name, it's his address. And they're just speaking, you know. Well, we have God who's king. 100%. We don't have fear. We don't walk in fear. We don't worry about those things. You know, no weapon formed against us shall prevail. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But on the positive side, the Holy Spirit knows all things. Mm-hmm. And he wants to encourage people. So when people get words, trust me, it was encouraging. Someone gives, I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, also it's failing, but that's pretty cool. You know? Like, right. Mixed emotions, but pretty cool. And but
he kind of kept that hope alive.
Kept the hope alive. Yeah. And we've talked about this before. Like maybe Troy was to keep us in Lafayette. Maybe Troy was to just break us down. You got to be honest. Like you have to get to a point where you have nothing. We got to a point where I didn't have any money, and my wife texted me the photo of like $6.44 in our bank account. It was 2018, and I remember it was $1,000. I owe $500, and Joel owes $500. And I'm driving from I think it was the lot. So funny because we would drive to the lot and pray over it. Yeah. But I was driving from the lot home because I was driving from that side of town. I was kind of near where Taco Sisters is, and I was driving when Stephanie. I was at like a stoplight because you don't text and drive, right? And just popped up and it just a photo, and it was like $6.44. So then I called her, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm driving. What's up?" She goes, "That's our bank account, and we owe $500 on like Friday." I was like, awesome. I was like, we finally went bankrupt. Like we made it.
Only you would say that.
No, I was like, you get to the point. This is 2008. This is 4 years of it. Yeah. Okay, 4 years.
You were used to it by now.
It was just like we'd get like this and this and this and this, and it was like, this is kind of cool because like only God can come through now. I can't be like, I did this. I worked so many jobs just to pay bills. It wasn't like, hey, I picked up an extra job, or hey, I did this. It was like God, like there's nothing else but God to come through. I remember putting my on Craigslist, my truck for like $6,000. I had a Toyota Tacoma truck, 2001 Toyota Tacoma. And I put my dresser in my bed. I was like, we don't need a bed. Just sleep on the floor. Like, we've done it before. Like, we'll figure it out, you know. Got to pay the money. And Joel's like frantically trying to come up with money. And we both came up with our money in the nick of time. And how mine happened was I worked at La Triumph for 6 months. And it was a Thursday banquet. That week, it was Monday. I have the photo of it. And then it was Thursday. And on that Thursday, I won the Employee of the Year.
And tell everybody, how much was it?
And I got $500 in cash.
Come on, somebody.
And I remember when I won the Employee of the Year, I sat down and opened up the envelope, and it was $500 in cash. And I was like, what just happened? I've been an employee here for 6 months maybe. And don't get me wrong, I worked my butt off.
Yeah, you love golf. You were, yeah.
I worked my butt off.
Yeah.
I would see people just, and I don't know if I should say this.
We don't have to.
We're in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah.
Not everyone likes to work. How about this?
Right.
And I just kept working. I never stopped. It was just like, I'm on the clock, and I work for God. I don't work for people.
Yeah.
So if work needs to get done, I'm going to get work done. So I just constantly worked. So I'm in this banquet hall Employee of the Year. I'm not thinking I'm going to win. Dude, I'm like 5-6 months into this thing. They called my name. I don't know why, but God. But God.
Yeah.
So it was funny. The next day, I told Joel, or that day I told Joel, I got my money. And then Joel's like, I got my money because this. And we walked in the next day and paid our money. And the landlord guy didn't know. No idea what just happened.
Yeah.
Like the tornado that just hit.
Yeah, like no clue.
And but it's crazy how God never fails and he always comes through. And I look back in my life of everything that could have gone wrong. He's always redeemed, and he's always redeemed. And it's not perfect even today. There's always challenges, nonstop. Like inflation for today, coffee shop destroys us. Yeah. I just got my nephew, Derek, called me yesterday and goes, did you hear about the tariff thing? And I was like, I didn't hear yet. And he goes, well, and I don't know if this is passing or not, but it was like 10% tariff, all countries. And he sent me this article of 34% tariff in China. And so we get our cups from there because nobody else makes cups. I think Lollicup might be the only one in America. God, what is it? Custom. There's another brand that does, but they're way more expensive. Yeah. Well, now 34% increase. And I'm like, this is yesterday. Yeah. So I'm like, there's always something that you have to navigate. God just doesn't give you a red carpet and just give 100%. You flowers and everything's easy. Like you always have to seek God and press in, and he always provides. So like at this time, it was like, it seemed like everything's failing, but we just kept believing. It was weird. It was a weird feeling. It was like we never lost faith, Yeah. I never lost heart. And like you always are hopeful. It was always hopeful. I think that's cool. All the words God gave, all the dreams, it was always hope. It was hope. It was hope. It was hope. Even though it took forever, it was hope. Yeah. It was hope. And then when I got the money for La Triomphe, and what's even cooler about that flashback, I was working at Home Depot, and I got the full-time job at La Triomphe, and I was just working like, I don't think I even worked anymore at Home Depot after this, but as I went to a lunch break at Home Depot, I went into Super One. One of the guys at Super One pushes carts, talking about prophecy, walks up to me and goes, John, because he knew my name. He said, you getting the job at La Triomphe? I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm taking it. He goes, someone in La Triumph can help you in your coffee shop. I was like, I received that. Thank you. I was like, this is cool. Yeah. Walk straight from there into Home Depot, and Miss V, did I tell you this story already?
Kind of, yes.
Miss V in the break room, because I was on break, went in there to eat. She goes, John, I just feel like God's saying someone in La Triumph can help you in your coffee shop. I'm like, did you talk to Wilson?
Right.
She goes, who's Wilson? I'm like, Miss V, I said this, Miss V, don't mess with me. I'm not.
That's why I love being a believer. Those moments never get old.
Yeah.
No matter how long you're in it.
Yeah. And it was like, God, why is God so good to us? Undeserving, but yeah, he gives you little nuggets. So then I had this word. I thought some rich guy was gonna give me $1 million. It's not how it happened. Right. I got $500 to pay for my lease.
100%.
And that's all I needed. I didn't need anything else. And man, part of me, I wish Joel was here too, because he has some stories we can feed off each other. Yeah. But that's kind of how we got to Houston. That's how we got to Lafayette. And then this is, how we started the jet dream for money. Yeah. And everything kind of failed, but God always came through. And then it got to a point in, let's see, Mark Guidry came along, and I had actually met Mark Guidry. This is really interesting now, is in 2015, I went to church at Pathway Church.
And Mark Guidry is who?
I didn't know who Mark Guidry is.
Oh,
okay,
gotcha.
so I'm at church. It's over. I go to the bathroom. And I'm in the bathroom, and I felt like God said, someone's going to offer you money for the coffee shop, and the answer is no. So I start washing my hands. I walk out of the bathroom, and Joel's talking to this guy. And I'm like, that's the guy. So I walk up to him, like, hey, how's it going? And Mark goes, hey, how's it going? I'm like, hey. He said, if you want to, I think word for word is, Joel's telling me about you guys wanting to have a coffee shop, and I'd love to be involved. And I know if you guys do it on your own, you can maybe only open one. But if I get involved, you do have to give up ownership. But you can open a lot more stores a lot quicker. And I was very respectful. I appreciate it, man. And we were already committed to Troy.
Yeah.
We already told Troy yes. So I said, sorry, I can't. I said, if anything changes, I said, we're committed to Troy and I'm loyal. So until he says no, I can't do it. So that was my scapegoat, even though God told me no.
Right.
And so that was my scapegoat. And me going, God told me no. Good to meet you.
Right. That would have been a different, yeah.
I would never have said that. So I'm like, thank you, Lord, that you're gracious, because he told me no. And then I meet with Mark, but I committed to Troy. Yeah. So that was my, hey, I'm committed. I appreciate if anything changes, let me know. And then I don't think I really talked to Mark maybe a couple times here and there in passing in church. But it wasn't until 2018, the money fell through, or the money bank account happened, and then we got paid. And then Joel went to Houston. I think, Joel went to Houston. And my dates might be a little bit off. This is how. So then it was in February of 2018, where, and I'm going to go back to the story. The money thing actually happened, I think, after this story, because I was in Reds February 2018. I heard God say, the time is now. And again, I don't hear God's voice. It's like a feeling that I get. Yeah. It's a sense. So then you have to is this really God? It's not, you have to decipher what you're hearing. Yeah. But from that point on, that was when I really started pushing to, let's open this coffee shop.
Around February 20th,
2018.
2018.
Yeah. And Joel at the time moved to Dallas to do car washes. So I called Joel, and he just said, look, dude, you do it, man. I'm doing something else. I'm like, no, dude, this is it. The time is now. He's like, man, you do it. So I was like, and I didn't want to do it without Joel. So I was like, well, maybe I do Jet Without Borders, and I do some nonprofit to help developing countries or something. I'm trying to brainstorm ways to do it so Joel can come back.
Gotcha.
And so I started moving forward, going to banks, and I would sit down with banks, and they would say, you want to open a coffee shop? That's cool. You should open a donut shop. And I'd be like, I'm kind of confused. I turned in a business plan and everything for a coffee shop, and you're in there telling me to open a donut shop?
Right.
There's too many donut shops. Oh, there's too many coffee shops. I'm like, okay. Yeah. This is not the right bank to be at. And it was 2 different banks said to open a donut shop, which is really weird. Were they talking? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the third bank just basically was like, no. So I was never going to go back to Mark, because at the time I was paying on this lease still. And it ended in 2018-ish. And so I was like, well, me and Steph were like, maybe what was the no because of Troy for Mark, or what was the no for? So we're praying, should I even call Mark? If God originally said he wants to invest and the answer is no, was that just a period of time?
Yeah.
And it was. It was obviously. And so we prayed about it, and we felt peace about it, that don't call him until you pay your leases off. Hey, Mark, you want to invest in a coffee shop, and I still owe $8,000 in a lease, and no. It was let's work and pay off all this while we try to pursue banks, try to pursue this, and if it lines up, great. And so we pay, the lease was up. Now this is 4 or 5 months go by. We pay off everything pretty much, or maybe it was 7 months, I can't remember. But finally, when it's paid off, then I called Mark, and I said, hey, Mark, I don't know if you remember, me and the coffee deal. And he goes, I was waiting for your call. I was like, okay, well, how do you want to do this? He goes, let's talk. So we started talking. And it was really interesting because we didn't agree on terms.
Yeah. I love this part of the story.
And we didn't agree on terms. And he was like, John, you don't understand, like in business, if I have the money, I control everything. And it's true.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's how business works. And I'm like, I know, but like there was a guy that prophesied over me in California that told me, and again, prophecy, I was in California at the Azusa Street conference, me and Joel and everybody.
Yeah.
And this guy was talking to my buddy. He was part of the conference. But then he turned to me and he said, man, I see a white truck kind of, and I'm butchering it.
That's okay.
I could go back and read it.
You're good.
A white truck going in and out of a carport, kind of picking up boxes. That's something to do with countries. And he said, are you kind of connected to a local church? Because that had something to do with the covering of a local church. And I was like, yeah, I go to a local church. I mean, where are you going with this? He said, well, someone in your local church is going to want to try to take the key. And if they get the key, then it's the worst thing that could ever happen. Like, it's all going to fail. It's all going to be, you need to get out. If you give the key up, just run. And I was like, okay, that's kind of a harsh thought. But he goes, just don't get rid of the key. I was like, okay, good to meet you. So I just wrote it down, and I had my sister write it down, Stephanie write it down. Luke was there. Luke wrote it down. I had them all write. And it was weird because, like, we all wrote it down, and it was all different stories, but all the same story.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I heard white truck. Stephanie said, I didn't hear white, I heard truck. And then Sarah heard white truck. And then all of us heard something about countries. It was just like, we didn't all get all the points out. It was like the gospel. So you're reading the story, and
together,
they're like all different, but they're all the same. But basically, when I talked to Mark, I was like, dude, I have to control.
Yeah.
Because that's what God told me.
Yeah.
It goes down to the thing in Houston. I can't sign on a loan, and I can't be a partner.
Yeah.
Or I can't do it. There's no gray area.
Yeah.
So I can't give up control of running it how I feel God wants me to run it.
Yeah.
And there was a couple other things in there.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, at first he and I remember this. He goes, "Look, this ain't gonna work." I said, "Okay, I'll wait another 7 years. I'm good. Good to talk to you. I really appreciate it. Respect you. Like, he's the
Great guy.
best dude you'll ever meet, literally.
100%.
And full respect in the world. But I also was like, I'm not compromising on what
I heard.
God told me.
Yeah.
And there is no option B, And he's like, oh man, he's like, you're stubborn. I'm like, okay, I'm stubborn. I know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is when God speaks, you either listen or don't listen. I'm going to keep beating the dead horse. You listen or you don't listen. You do or you don't do.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't any disrespect to Mark. I love the dude. And at the time, I didn't even know him, but I was like, I really like you a lot. It's no disrespect to you. It's God told me this, and I have to do this, or I have to find a different partner. It's not that. It's not offense to you. This is what it is.
Right.
So he's like, all right. And that was it. Just kind of parted ways. And then like maybe a week later, he calls me, and he goes, John, I was taking a bath. I heard God say, help John. So what do you want to do? I was like,
come on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Cool. So I was like, all right, well, these are the things I need. He goes, sounds good. Let's do it. And from then I started going all jet,
Dude.
And
I love it.
Isn't that crazy? But there's so much more here. It's crazy.
100%.
In fact, I even started to write kind of all my story from start to finish 2 years ago, and I never finished it.
But to kind of put a bow on some of that. So it's been 7 years. Right? This is 2025 since you and Mark kind of began this process.
7 years, yep. It's been 10 years since we basically moved here.
Wow.
Just over. But yeah, 10 years.
And it took almost 4 years to kind of really get some traction, I guess you can say. 3 years maybe.
From when I moved here to get money and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh man, it took 5 years. It took 5 years to open. What's really interesting too is in 2019, I think it was October, is when I started, I have a note of when I officially started to do coffee instead of dentist.
Yeah.
Like I changed directions.
Yeah.
And then we opened October of 2019. So 2012 and 2019, I'm sorry. It was 7 years later, which is really cool too, because all this waiting and stuff was for a purpose.
100%.
Like Seven's completion and stuff.
Yep.
But I just think the main thing out of all this, this business is not my business. It's God's business.
Yeah.
And I want it to be a place where everyone feels welcome and loved, and not everyone thinks the same, not everyone believes the same, not everyone talks the same, not everyone looks the same, not everyone eats the same. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
But how can I make sure that you feel valued and loved? That's it. It's pretty simple.
One of your employees told me, we don't sell coffee. We sell experience.
There you go. Yeah. Who said that?
I could not tell you,
That's
man.
kind of cool.
You have so many great employees that
That is really cool.
we joke all the time, or they joke all the time with me. They feel like I live at Jet Coffee. And I was like, well, I pretty much do. I do probably 50% of my work there a week. And so it's been a treat to kind of see the business grow and your employees grow. And I'll never forget that. He said, yeah, we don't sell coffee. We sell experiences. I said, well, I enjoy my time here every day.
That is so cool. I hear all the complaints, though. I do.
I'm sure you do.
It all goes down to me.
I'm sure you do.
So,
okay.
But yeah, I think the main thing is like, it's everything we do now, and I've been doing for a while now, is honoring God in everything. And one of the big mottos that, if you want to put a quote on this, here's the quote. Because you said,
give it to us.
Did you say it in this podcast already? You wanted a quote and everything? Or was that before the podcast?
After you answer this one, you can give me 4 more, then we're gonna be done.
Okay. Well, this was my motto. I woke up in the middle of the night, 1, 2, 3, I don't know, and I was saying, if you're always doing the right thing, eventually you do the right thing at the right time. And I was mumbling it, saying it, and I woke myself up. I fell back asleep, and I said it again. If you're always doing the right thing, eventually you'll do the right thing at the right time. And I thought, man, I need to write this down. So I wrote it down. And then I went back to bed, woke up, and it was like every time a piece of trash would fall that didn't go in the trash, if you're always doing the right thing, eventually you do the right thing at the right time. And I was like, obsessive about it.
Yeah, of course.
Well, then it got to a point where I almost got annoyed about it. It was like things would happen. I'm like, like I'm going into Home Depot from work, and I'm in the back of the parking lot. I park, I start to walk this way, and I happen to glance over, and there's a shopping cart 30 feet that way. I'm not on the clock. Start walking. If you're always doing the right thing, yeah, dang it. You know what? I'll go pick it up. Walk over there, pick up the shopping cart, walk inside. And like to that point, to where it was like I couldn't let things slide. Well, I actually applied for an assistant manager job, and the district manager said he saw me picking up that shopping cart. And it was one of the reasons why I got the assistant manager job.
No way.
Isn't that crazy? So what it is if you're always doing the right thing, eventually, the eventual for me is when I got to like really, I always have to do the right thing? No, I should do the right thing. And I went and got that cart. Little did I know, when I got the cart and pushed it in, I didn't know the DM was there that day, all the way on the other side of the parking lot. And he saw me getting out of the truck, walked over, picked up a cart, walked in. I guess he said, hey, check to see if John's on the clock. And I wasn't on the clock. He was like, huh. And he knew I wanted to grow in the company as like a supervisor or something. So he just told me the story. He's like, man, that was pretty cool that you got not on the clock, but yet you picked up a shopping cart. Like, nobody does that. I don't know if it was the reason why I got hired.
Yeah.
It was just, he told me that. And I thought, man, like that is so God. Because if you're obedient to what he calls you to do, then something's going to line up to where you do the right thing at the right time. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Another slogan I have for you too is I woke up in the middle of the night saying, do the work your dream requires. And I fell back asleep, woke up again, do the work your dream requires. And I was singing over and over and over again, ended up writing it down. And I thought it was like some church slogan. I Googled it. I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think we're in process of trademarking it for stickers or shirts. I think we have a trademark now for shirts and stickers. But I was like, do the work your dream requires. Everyone has a dream. Do you know anyone who doesn't have a dream?
Mm.
Do you know anybody? Honestly, I can't think of.
No.
When you're an adult,
right?
Well, even when you're a kid, you dream to be an astronaut.
Something, yeah.
Like
you aspire to something.
Has a dream,
yeah.
But you don't ever get your dreams unless you physically just put the hand to the plow, and just start grinding.
Yeah.
There's just a level of work that you have to do, and for me, I just got to make sure that everything I do, I honor God.
Yeah.
And it's all God's, because if I think it's me, He takes away. That's what I've learned in my life.
Yeah.
And this isn't a quote, but I'll tell you one more story. Is when we first opened Jet, about 3 months into it, I was driving by, working all day long, 4 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night. And I was just like, oh, I'm tired, And I was like, deep breaths, like, God, I'm just, like, I'm working hard. And we have customers, but we're not, like, busy. Yeah. And I felt like God said, don't you know I send them? And that was all I got. And I was like, man, like, I guess when you wake up in the morning and you have this urge, Like, oh, I want to go to Another Broken Egg and get breakfast. Or like, oh, I want to go to Chick-fil-A and get a sandwich. I actually believe God was telling me that he puts urges in people to, I want to go get a jet.
Yeah.
So if God sends the customers and I don't treat my customers good, stewardship.
Right. Stewardship.
I don't treat my managers good. I don't treat my employees good. I cheat things. We never cut corners, like taxes and stuff.
Yeah.
Ever. I'll never do it. Because I know that if I do, he's going to pull the customers away.
Right.
So there's a level of fear. It's not like scared. I fear God. That if I don't steward what God gave me right, there are consequences for not stewarding. And he'll give things to other people who will steward it the right way. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So that's kind of been, I know there's a lot here.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
But to sum that all up, it was like the move to California, the California move to Houston, the Houston move to Louisiana.
Then you met Mark.
I met Mark. Yeah, from that point on, Mark, he said he was in. We made the agreement, moved forward. And it wasn't easy. Everything, there's always an issue. But like, just how God does everything in such crazy ways. Yeah. And some of them were so blatant in your face. Like I have a note right here. It was like 2017 that we fasted and prayed today for Troy to call. And that day he called. He hadn't called for 6 months. It was like, some things are like slap you in the face, God. And some things are like, you do this and nothing happens.
Yeah.
But don't complain either way. Because a lot of times people are like, God, I'm going to fast and pray that Dustin Bertrand calls me. And then Dustin doesn't call. Oh, well, God, like, don't you do. And you just complain. If Troy didn't call, which many times
he didn't, obviously.
It's okay. We'll try it again next time. Like, it's God's timing. And I think there's a level of attitude of not saying I know, or I'm just saying,
sharing your experience.
There's a level of that I've learned that if you just, godliness with contentment is great gain. If you work hard, treat people right, respect everyone, love every person for even what they think or believe, love them for who they are. God loves them all. God loves everybody. Love every person. Be content in where you are. Be godly. There's great gain.
Yeah.
I start cheating things here and there, treat people bad, doing things I shouldn't be doing, sneaking things.
Yeah.
I'm on a bad track, and I reap what I sow. I'm not doing that.
Well, man, listen, thank you so much for sharing that. Kind of what I get from it all, kind of a couple of last quotes you said, I feel like your story can be kind of summarized in like, do the work your dream requires, and God will partner you in that and bring your desire into fruition, Yeah. And so I just want to thank you for your courage, your openness, your transparency, your zeal and your intensity for the Lord and for the dreams you set for yourself and your family and the community. I just want to say thank you. I enjoy your coffee, It's been a treat for me to be a part of that community as a customer and whatnot. And then definitely being your friend and your competitor on the golf course has also been a great time. And, if you want, before we close it out, if you want to share a little bit about the locations of where people can go and, enjoy the coffee.
101 Camino Real Road is our first store near the dealerships.
This is all in Louisiana?
Lafayette, yeah.
Yeah.
Broussard, Louisiana, store 2. It's 109 St. Nazaire, right in front of Walmart. Store 3 is in Lafayette, 4701 Ambassador Caffrey Parkway, right in front of Topgolf.
Yeah.
Which that whole location was a dream in my sleep. I think, don't go into it here. But, Store 4 was Midtown, which is right in front of the Grand Theater, 3123 Johnson Street.
I'll be there.
And it's a good place. And one thing I think is really cool, last thing I'll say too, is every location, like when you seek God, he speaks and leads you. And because as a team we've done that, every store that we opened, God actually told us to go there.
That's awesome.
So like, and I won't go into detail, but he told us to go to our first store a certain way. Our second store was a dream in my sleep. Our third store was a dream in my sleep. The fourth store, which is the one you like, was the craziest story and actually involved Mark Guidry. Because Mark always says like, if you have a dream, I'll write a check or something as a joke.
Yeah.
And but that store actually was about him too a little bit. And it was cool because before me and Steph prayed, we said, Lord, like, I don't want this just to be my dreams or Steph's dreams or like, God, like speak to Mark. Let Mark let him be involved in something, and in that, it involved Mark somehow. I'm not even going to go into the
No, you're good.
details. And then after we opened, I was blessed with another partner. So I don't want to go into the agreement, but Mark Hudson's my other partner, and he actually flies jets.
Wow.
And I was like, this is kind of funny. And him and Mark Gidry are like partners.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they do as far as other businesses, but they have deals. I don't know. But they decided, Mark was like, well, I want to do that as well, And so they became my partners, and it's been the best thing ever because Hudson's very level-headed and is super wise and everything and calculated and helps us make good calculated risk, And it's good for me because I'll just jump right in,
100%.
And there's a good level of having faith and jumping in, but at the same time you got to do your research. Call your friends, pray, do your research, check your demographics on if there's even cars, like your car counts, how many people live there, how many rooftops, how much money they make. Can I open a business here? There's so much research involved, but then there's a level of faith where it's like you just got to go. And every business opening takes faith. Whether it's godly faith or not, doesn't matter. It takes a level of faith. Man, I got to jump in and open this own business. I better sell.
Well, good, man. That's all I got for you today. I just want to thank all of y'all out there that took the time to listen to this episode. This will be our first one, but won't be our last one. And so we'll have more individuals like John and people not like John here, kind of sharing their life story around faith, family, finance, and fitness and fun. So, John, again, I just want to thank you again, and
thank
I'll
you.
see you on the course.